Hey guys, how's it going? Hope everyone's having a great evening. My kids are wired. We just got back from an Angel game, so I cannot promise that they're not gonna uh, come just bursting in here any second. But hopefully, I'll have a little bit of time to get my thoughts straight with you tonight. So today is what is it? Is it day 10? Yes, today is day 10 of our Facebook Live challenge here. And today we want to discuss finding the time to write and the importance of getting your thoughts down. So, I don't know about any of you out there, but I have a huge obsession with journals. I started journaling around fifth grade and I wrote almost every single day until I was about 25. So, it was right around when I got married. And it was how I really processed and worked through almost everything. My journal was kind of like my therapist for many years. This is obviously a lot harder now with two little ones, and I'm not gonna lie, I miss it a lot. Um, it's amazing how your thoughts hold so much power over you until you get them out. Sometimes when I'm really struggling and having a hard time, my husband will come home and he'll say, "Get out of here, go write, take your journal, go write," because he knows that a lot of times I just need to get it all out and I'll feel a lot better. Um, but as much as I love the act of putting pen to paper, I don't get to do that as often anymore. And I've had to settle for my notes app on my iPhone most of the time, as I tend to be most inspired when I'm either, nursing or otherwise having some unplanned downtime. So that's where I keep a lot of my thoughts these days. But I think the most important thing with writing is finding something that works for you. Whether you need to write as part of your work, if you have a blog, or you just want to keep a record of memories of your kids. I've known a couple of friends that keep some sort of notebook or journal out, usually like on the kitchen counter or somewhere where they see it often, and it's always in sight. And they use it to write down things that their kids say or do throughout the day, and that's a cool way to have like a memory book for your kids. I remember my aunt actually did something very similar to that for both of her girls. And when they were 18, she was able to give them these composition books that were just filled with all of these memories. And I think that that's really cool. So, again, whether you're doing this for profession or just for personal, whatever it might be, I think that it has its importance. How many of you guys have had the idea to start a blog? I know I've been there more than once. You get all excited and you launch a website, and the first week goes amazing and you're writing every day. And then all of a sudden you're like, what do I write about now? I'm out of ideas. So I know I've been there. I'm totally guilty. I've witnessed several friends go through the same thing. And so what I wanted to kind of share today is something I recently heard that was one of those aha moments for me. And my husband shared this. He was reading a blog post on Medium by the writer Jeff Goins. I don't know if anyone's heard of him. I've only heard of him through my husband a while back. But the post was aimed at people that write as more of it's their profession. But I still think that it's relevant if you're writing a blog, or a blog is a part of your business, or, I know there's a lot of mommy bloggers out there. So I think it's still relevant. And what Jeff discusses is how he's written 5 books and 1,000 blog posts. And he said that what we call writing is actually made up of 3 things. And he's like, the simple idea that we think of as just being, this one thing is actually made up of 3 things. And those 3 things are coming up with ideas, and then turning those ideas into drafts, and then editing those drafts into publishable pieces. And one of the things that he believes is you don't ever write anything unless you're intending to, you write it with the intent of publishing it whenever you go to write. But he goes on to basically say that he used to have a goal for himself to write 500 words a day. And he would sit down and he'd sit there, get his coffee, and nothing would come to him. And he'd get so frustrated because he had allotted this time for writing and nothing would come, and it was kind of like this sick cycle. And it wasn't until he realized that the thing that we call writing isn't simply this one thing, but these 3 things, that he began to be more productive. So if writing is a part of what you do, I'd love for you to try this system. I know that what I have done in the past for blogging is a variation of this, and it has worked for me. And it inspired me when my husband shared it with me last week that I need to start doing that again for Honest Mama. So the first step is to capture all of your ideas throughout the day, throughout the week. You have one place, whether it's on your phone, in a notebook, wherever it might be. When you have an idea about something that you'd like to share about, write it down. This is your idea bucket. And then the next thing is to have a place where you have a lot of time where you sit down, and when you sit down to write your draft, you're literally just pulling an idea from the bucket. So now you have all of those ideas there and you're pulling it out. Um, and when you sit there to write about it, you're just being really kind of real and honest and in the moment, whatever comes to mind. Don't edit yourself, don't refine it. That's for another time. And so that's the third one, is that when you sit down the next day to write, you're actually now turning this draft into this refined thing that can be published. So obviously it takes a few days, or even if you're like, most moms, a few weeks to get the system moving. But once you're going, it's going to be a lot harder to write, or to run out of things rather to write about. So I just kind of wanted to share things more from that vantage point, because again, I know a lot of you guys are mommy bloggers, or you have a blog as part of your business. So I wanted to just take some time to kind of address it from that standpoint. So speaking of, I am going to go try and catch up on the Honest Mama blog now. But I hope you guys have a great night, and we will be back tomorrow with day 11 of our life challenge. So thanks for joining us. All right, bye.